All right, today we are taking a huge leap into the future. I'm not talking about what's coming next year, I'm talking about the next decade. We're going beyond 5G to explore its successor, 6G, a technology that's not just an upgrade, but something that could completely change how we interact with the world.
So, I know what you're probably thinking. Outdated? I just got 5G. And you're right. For most of us, 5G still feels brand new. But believe it or not, behind the scenes, the global race to build what comes next is already happening. And it is intense. You know, if you look back, it makes sense. Every 10 years or so, we get a new generation of wireless tech. 1G let us talk on the go, 4G basically created the app economy we live in, and 5G is all about connecting our devices. But 6G? It has a much bigger goal: to literally merge our physical and digital lives. So what is this stuff really? What's actually under the hood of this next big leap? Let's break down what makes 6G so radically different from anything we've ever had before. Okay, at its core, 6G is simply the sixth generation of wireless. But here's the key. It operates on what are called terahertz waves. This is a super high-frequency part of the spectrum that, for commercial tech, is basically uncharted territory. It's the Wild West of radio waves. And this is where things get absolutely mind-blowing. We think 5G is fast, right? It can hit around 10 gigabits per second. Well, 6G is projected to hit speeds of up to 1 terabit per second. That's not a small jump. That is 100 times faster. To really put that into perspective for you, with a 6G connection, you could download 142 hours of Netflix in a single second. No, that is not a typo. 1 second. The entire series of your favorite show downloaded before you can even blink. I love this analogy because it just perfectly captures the scale we're talking about here. This isn't just about faster downloads. It's about a complete shift in the sheer volume of data we can move. Instantly, all at once. It's a tidal wave of information. Now, a technology this powerful doesn't just appear. It has to be built. So who's building it? And when can we actually expect to see it? Well, that brings us to the global race for 6G dominance. So widespread adoption is still about a decade away, with the first real commercial rollouts probably starting around 2030. But don't let that fool you. The really intense foundational work, the research, the development, the arguments over standards, that's all happening right now as we speak. And this is not some quiet academic project. Oh no, this is a full-blown global competition with huge economic and strategic implications. I mean, look at this. China has already launched a test satellite. South Korea, the US, the EU, they're all pouring billions into R&D. And you've got all the big names, Samsung, Apple, Huawei, leading the charge. Why? Because the stakes are incredibly high. Whoever wins this race could very well set the tech agenda for the rest of the 21st century. Okay, so we know it's insanely fast, and there's a global sprint to build it. But what does that actually mean for you and me in our daily lives? This is where it gets really, really fun. The speed and near-zero lag of 6G unlock things that honestly sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. Forget video calls, imagine real-time holographic meetings, where it feels like the other person is right there in the room. We could create digital twins, perfect virtual copies of entire cities to test new ideas, or even a virtual copy of your own body for a surgeon to practice on. Augmented reality could finally work seamlessly through lightweight glasses, and self-driving cars could communicate instantly, making our roads incredibly safe. We're even talking about the potential for brain-computer interfaces, directly linking our minds to the digital world. It's wild stuff. But, of course, building a future like that is not going to be easy. So let's get real for a minute and talk about the absolutely massive challenges that stand in the way of this 6G world. First off, those powerful terahertz waves don't travel very far, so we'll need millions of new mini cell towers basically everywhere. Second, just powering this whole network is going to be a monumental energy challenge. Third, when everything is connected, security has to be rock solid. We're talking about next-level stuff like quantum encryption. And finally, the cost. Building this out globally will cost trillions. These are huge hurdles, but just like with every previous generation, the race is already on to solve them. Now, I know this all might sound like it's way off in the distant future, but the choices being made about 6G today are going to directly shape the world you're living in tomorrow. So let's just ask the big question here. Why should you really care about any of this when, let's be honest, you might have just gotten the stable 5G connection on your phone last week? Well, here's the most important thing to understand. The biggest, most world-changing applications of 6G probably haven't even been invented yet. Think about it. When 4G was being developed, nobody predicted Uber or TikTok. 4G was just the foundation that made them possible. 6G is going to be that foundation for the next wave of innovation we can't even imagine. So understanding where this is all heading puts you ahead of the curve, whether you're thinking about your career, your investments, or just the kind of world your kids are going to grow up in. And that is really the ultimate point. The most exciting thing about 6G isn't what we know it can do. It's all the things that we can't even conceive of today. It's not just an upgrade, it's a platform for a whole new kind of reality. And that future is definitely worth keeping an eye on.